Tomorrow, I'm going to ruin his life. I have been with him for 3 years now. We planned on getting married when our lives settle down. I wanted to start a family with him. I loved him more than anyone else in this world. I've sacrificed so much for him, moved away from my home, turned down jobs so I could stay with him, and stood by his side as he started to go back to school. I gave him my world. And he cheats on me. I found out over a month ago. The scumbag got cocky, and I found out he was cheating on me with 2 different women. One is a TA at his university, the other his best friend's girlfriend. I am livid. I write this post choking back venom. I loved him so much. He was my world, but now he will be the world I burn to nothing but ash. I pay for everything since he quit his job last year to go to school. I was more than happy to help him. I make enough to support us both. The only upside is the student loans are in his name with no connection to me. It will hurt to push the scumbag out to sea, but I will survive. I have held out for a month, enough time to create what I call the day his world burns. Tomorrow we are hosting a party. I arranged for his family to come, but my family will sadly not be able to make it. I have packed everything valuable already, and the suitcase is in the back of my car. My brother will come during the event tomorrow, to take the car that is in my name that the dirtbag drives to my parents' house. The joint account, which is all my money anyway, is already empty. The event will be great, and he thinks it's for us to announce our engagement to his family. What will happen in reality is I will announce my departure from his life. I have already taken a job out of state and have lined up a new place to live. I will start by telling everyone what he is into. The screenshots of him asking his friend's girlfriend to piss on him and the many other fantasies his degenerate mind came up with will be passed around. I will hand him the notice to vacate as I have already broken our lease. We need to be out by the end of the month. I will then end off by informing him I have already reported he was sleeping with the TA for one of his classes the previous semester to the university and that I am sad I won't see the fallout from that. His friend also has a message for him that I will deliver, informing him that his friend group never wants to see him again as well. And with that, I will leave. I will not look back. I will set his life on fire and walk away. Yesterday, I was supposed to ruin his life. Yesterday, I planned to ruin his life in front of his entire family. I worked for a month to create the scenario that would cut him the deepest. I had patiently waited for the chance to storm out of his world in a blaze of glory. And then I hit the front page of Reddit. I realized I had messed up when he was not answering my texts and had not shown up hours after he told me he would be home. I had hoped it was a happy accident, literally a car killing him before I had the chance. But no. I don't know how many men in the world are currently cheating on their soon-to-be fiancé with their best friend's girlfriend and a TA. However, the one who mattered in my plan found my Reddit post. I called his mother and found out that he had run home to his parents. He told them we had a fight and that we were probably through. I was, and still am livid at myself. His mother asked me what had happened as he left out a few details. So I decided to tell her that he was cheating on me with a TA and his friend's girlfriend. I soon heard shouting, before she hung up. I texted my ex that he had until morning to return my car before I reported it stolen and sent the screenshots of all his texts to his parents and siblings. My car was sitting in my driveway when I woke up. I contemplated sending the screenshots anyway, but his mother sent me a heartfelt text yesterday apologizing for her son's actions, and I feel they deserve to be spared from his degenerate actions. I and my father will be moving all my stuff today, and I won't be coming back after that.
Can't lie, I expected this to backfire worse, and am a bit disappointed that the original plan did not work. But oh well, you still have a chance to crumble that bastard. You can still shame both of them and basically spread those screenshots like viruses. I mean, Facebook, Instagram stories/posts, heck, Even email them out. Employers, boss, exes, everyone you can think of. Ruin both their lives. Make them suffer. This is your chance. Take it. Be selfish for once and ruin everything of value they have left. Reputation.
Story 2. My 25F, BF, 28M, cheated on me and I got fairly satisfactory revenge. I'm going to make this as short and sweet as I can. Basically, I, 25F, went through my BF's, 28, phone. He had cheated on me with an ex and was telling her that he loved her so much and couldn't wait to be the stepfather to her children and he was going to leave me for her. She knew he was with me and didn't care. We have been together for 7 months officially but have been seeing each other for over a year now. We had plans to move in together and I had a lot of things at his house including my cat because I didn't want to leave her home alone all the time when I spent over 75% of my time at his house. So, I decided while he was at work to move all my things home. I took the key to my apartment off his key ring the night before. After moving everything out and telling him, he proceeded to freak out. He is a narcissist and he would gaslight me and all kinds of things. So he immediately tried to take control of the situation. I did not let him and I think for the first time ever he was not in control and he didn't know how to handle so he resorted to buying me things and begging for my love. Here it gets a little more complicated. Let's just say we had a really great time in the bedroom and we would like to make explicit content to save for later. We had quite a few, so I agreed to stay with him in the condition that he blocked her and I decided I was going to sneak in and delete everything off his devices. I did not move my things back in. This all happened 1 week ago and tonight I got everything deleted off of everything and successfully ruined any kind of a relationship he may have had with the other girl. In their last convo she called him an a-hole and he told her I treated him the best and loved him and it wasn't worth losing me over. So I am now going to leave this relationship knowing that my content is no longer in his hands and that he most likely will be alone completely as well because she hates him too now. Update. I would like to address the point that a lot of you were making about my content. I understand how technology works and I am fully aware I could have missed something or that he could try to get them restored. I had 4 straight hours on his phone and covered every single one of my bases. I got in the cloud, I emptied from the trash bins after deleting things, etc. I truly believe he would have to pay someone to get it all recovered if I didn't miss anything and I don't think he would go to that extent. I believe he would just find another girl to do those things with and make new. There are obviously specific details I may have forgotten or left out due to trying to shorten the story up. I have responded to a lot of your comments and tried to clear anything up. Now the update you all are waiting for. So basically, Friday night/Saturday morning he was mad at me and ended up sleeping on the couch and left his phone in the bedroom. I was able to get on there and go through every inch of it and even ended up finding videos other than my own. I deleted it all. I checked, double-checked, and triple-checked many times. Finally he came back to the bedroom so I got up, got dressed and left. His bike was in the back of my car so I dropped it off by his back door and left a stuffed animal he had one for me on top of it so he would get the hint. And then I went home and blocked all social media but not his number mostly so I could see what he would try to do not because I wanted to answer him. He called me about 7 times and texted me numerous times. He said he was going to come over even if I called the cops, he loved me, he wanted to be with me, he told me he was crying and could barely see his phone screen and that he had planned on waking up that day and taking me out to look at houses for rent and waking me up to coffee and a good time. He went on but never showed up and eventually stopped texting me. I think he knows and understands that I made my choice and I won this battle. Hopefully, he stays away so I can get over this in my own time and heal from it all.
I went back. No. To delete content. Yo. That's smooth. I wouldn't recommend because if it goes wrong you're on a murder show. Still, that's balls.
Story 3. My ex divorced me and now wants to be together again after 4 years. I'm 46F, and my ex-husband is 45. We were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we got married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21 years old. I loved both of them dearly, and we've been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me. She never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights, and my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried wearing white to it. We had many encounters with her years after that, sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again to seeing her outside our house. 4 years ago, I got home from work to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm very faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We got into a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she too started to blame me when she found out from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her, and I was granted visitation rights, but she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a huge depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tear us apart. I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of the house to allow my ex and my daughter to live there. I ended up moving to a small apartment. It's been 4 years, and I started to finally be happy again. I made new friends. We had so much fun and I got a promotion at work. I still missed my family, my daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. 2 days ago, my daughter called me. It's been 4 years since I've last seen or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have one after all the trouble she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit it, and now I'm hearing my daughter. She asked to meet up and apologized so many times. I told her we could meet tomorrow. Yesterday, I met her at a restaurant, but she brought along my ex, something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He was apologizing, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together again. I excused myself and left them there. I got back home to lots of phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk, and she called me an asshole for leaving. I told her I wasn't comfortable and that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I haven't responded yet, and I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but I can't talk to her with him there. Not yet anyways. It feels so fast. I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I'm typing this. I don't know what to do. Edit, I didn't make it clear about my daughter's custody. Her opinion mattered in court since she was 17 during the divorce. Although the divorce was about me allegedly cheating, my ex and I agreed to keep that apart from the actual divorcing process. Split what we needed to split and let our daughter choose who she wants to be with. She wanted to live with her dad, and I agreed. She was strongly adamant about not seeing me, so I allowed my ex to have full custody, leaving me with visitations. Not only that, I needed to find an apartment. I had to move out of the house. I was living off couch to couch in my relatives' homes. I didn't have space for her, and my ex mentioned it in court. It was the main reason why she was granted to stay with her father. I was under stress, and I was not mentally well. I signed off my rights. I looked like a mess in court, too. There was also a lot more going on during the time. Update. 2 days ago, I texted my daughter to set some boundaries after the ambush attack at the restaurant. As we were talking, she mentioned new information about my ex and why he chose his mother's side over me. Earlier that morning, his mother confessed that she had paid an ex-friend of ours to lie directly in my ex-husband's face, claiming to be my affair partner. Mind you, I never had cheated in the first place. My ex took that as solid evidence and divorced me because of it. His mother is a master manipulator and had him around her finger throughout his childhood, so I'm not surprised why he'd take her side. He didn't know that the confession was fake until a few days ago. I wasn't even aware of the entire thing for 4 years. No one had brought it up to me. My daughter gave me the silent treatment. My ex's mother obviously wouldn't tell a thing to me, and probably told my ex-husband to keep quiet and to only focus on the divorce. I'm still really saddened, but everything makes sense. I was so mad at him for leaving me over her word, but it was much more than that. Besides that, I decided to give my daughter another chance. She will not know where I live or any personal information to indicate where I am. I'm keeping low contact on her. I don't want her spreading it to her father or other people. I'll only show up during important events. Graduation, weddings, etc. I know my ex-husband will also attend. If that's the case, then so be it. I requested my daughter to put her father on the phone. He, of course, apologized so many times and hoped we could have another chance as well. He said he'd do anything to make it up and that he loves me. I said no. I explained that I was keeping him no contact and that I was heartbroken when he didn't communicate to me about the cheating allegations and only assumed. That I was practically homeless for a short time and needed to see a therapist to help move on. That I wanted to be left alone and currently not interested in another relationships. Then, I gave him a new email in case of emergencies directly involving our daughter. Anything else I will discard. That was the only time I spoke to him in the past 2 days. I've been talking to my daughter, setting boundaries and whatnot. She gave small updates about what was going on with her side. They went no contact with my ex's mother, so that's good. I told her never to contact that woman again. She also apologized about her behavior at the restaurant, and that it won't happen again. I understand that emotions were running high and everyone was tensed. I forgave her. I still really love her. Mistakes can happen. Now, a lot of you said to sue my ex's mother. I spoke to my therapist about it earlier today. She said it wasn't wise to do so. It'll put more emotional distress on me and then I might have to see her again and may relapse into a depressive state. I really don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that woman again. All I want to do is focus on myself and on my daughter. I want to rebuild our relationship, and it will be ruined if I do something drastic as in suing my ex's mother. I won't be pressing charges unless something else happens to the point where police are involved. That would be different. Other than that, I'm taking a break. My daughter can text me anytime she wants, but I did say that I may not always reply since I want to remain low contact as of now. Update 2. It's been a roller coaster. My daughter had posted her side of the events, which I did not realize how crappy the post really was until you guys pointed it out. We decided to speak about that more in family therapy, and she apologized for it. She logged out of the account and isn't using it anymore. I'm paying for our family therapy and individual therapy. I said that as long as she goes to school full-time, I will be financially supporting it. I think we have grown a lot in therapy. It's only been a few months, and we're able to express our feelings without the other judging. About my ex Mael, a month prior, she got arrested for drug possession. I literally have no clue what happened on her end, but my daughter messaged me about it. From what I could gather, she got caught with drugs in her home, and she is still behind bars. No one bailed her out. I chuckled when I found out. It was a pleasant surprise. About my ex-husband, I know he has been spiraling, and I think after his mother got arrested, he snapped. He started getting drunk and verbally aggressive towards my daughter. It's been happening for roughly 2 months, so I requested that my daughter would live with me since I do not feel comfortable with his behavior. I was right since his verbal aggression turned into physical abuse. He hit my daughter. While he went to work, I came back to the house. It was emotional. Not many things were changed, except no family photos, and the furniture was rearranged. I helped my daughter pack all of her things, along with important documents, and we fled. I turned my office area into her bedroom and she's been staying with me for a week now. I've been driving her to school, and now this week is her last before she's out for summer break. It was awkward at first. I wanted to keep low contact with her, but I couldn't let her be abused and have the police do very little about it. We made a report, but I don't think much will be done about it. My daughter and I have been doing little things at my home. Watching television together, driving her to school, and preparing meals for her. We're going slow, but we're bonding, and our relationship is growing. She's a lot quieter nowadays. She used to be so outgoing, but I know this is taking a toll on her. I'm glad she's willing to be in therapy. I suspect she has depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. Safe to say, it's a happy ending.
When you posted, I was upset and angry on your behalf. I, like probably many of us, were wishing and hoping for things for you. I think I felt all the feels with your journey. I hope for the best for you and those you choose to have in your life.
Story 4. My family warned me I was dating a gold digger and I ignored them. 10 years later. I see they were right. I, now 35M, met my wife, Annabelle, now 34F, when we were in college. My family was lower middle class and I was hustling to make sure student loans didn't kill me post-graduation. At first, everything seemed great. She was truly my rock through some really hard times. I struggle with anxiety and depression, as well as imposter syndrome. She had her own struggles too. I thought we fit well. My parents and sister always told me that while she seemed nice enough, something was off. This only increased when Annabelle dropped out of college and shared her plans to become a housewife/som one day, so she didn't need a degree. Back then, there was no guarantee that I would have a high-paying job, but I also didn't mind her staying home with our future kids. Then, I got an offer for my dream job. 6 figures, company car, travel, the works. They'd also pay for me to obtain my master's, something that seemed out of reach considering I was drowning in student loan debt. I could finally move out of my parents' house and get one of my own. I used part of my signing bonus to buy an engagement ring for Annabelle. Because I began dating her prior to the money, I never imagined that she was with me for anything else. She loved me when I was a broke college student. We had planned our futures back then. How was it different? My family tried to point out the red flags. Annabelle planned an over-the-top, expensive wedding. She wanted the biggest house she could find. My signing bonus was drained rather quickly and I was worried about not saving enough. I constantly told her to slow down, we don't need the best of everything. And she would, for a while. Then it'd pick up again. We had 2 children together, who are now 8 and 4. The big spending got worse when they came along. But again, I was okay with it. I was making good money, we could afford it. Annabelle grew up in a similar situation as me, so I figured she just wanted to spoil the kids. Then, I got laid off from my job. It wasn't out of nowhere. The field I'm in has slowly begun to dwindle over the years. I stayed on as long as I could, but at this point, the company is going under. Annabelle was worried when I relayed the news, but I informed her that we had our savings, we'd be okay until I found work again. I was hired at a new company in a similar but different field within a month. The catch? I am making significantly less. It's enough to live off of. We can stay in our house. But things need to change. I pointed out our kids can't go to private school anymore. We can't take multiple lavish trips a year. No more frivolous spending. She wasn't happy, but again, I gave her grace. It's a big adjustment, even for me. Just 2 months after I started at my new job, Annabelle came to me and said, "I don't think I can do this anymore." I was taken off guard and we had several discussions that amounted in her taking the kids to be with her mother while we took a break. I already knew our marriage was over, no one can come back from a break unscathed. Sure enough, a few weeks after she moved out, she told me she wanted a divorce. She claimed we had grown apart. Said I worked too many hours at my last job and I was never around. While it's true, I did work a lot, I was home every night for dinner. We had all of the weekend together. I traveled often, but she always came with me up until our oldest started elementary school. She never complained about a damn thing. In fact, I once said I was tired from working a long week and I felt guilty that she was home alone with 2 kids. But she assured me she was happy. I asked her several times if it was about me losing money. She denied it up and down. She married me so young and needed to see what was out there. She put it all on me. Naively, I told myself that this was what happened when you marry your college sweetheart. You grow apart. I didn't want to believe that my entire marriage had been a lie. Within 2 weeks of filing for divorce, she was with someone new. The reality came crashing down. She tried to play it off as they just so happened to meet, but they moved fast. She was moving in with him within 3 months. They were engaged before our divorce was even final. This guy is a surgeon. He makes 6 figures a year. I don't know if the cheating began when I got laid off or before. I suppose it doesn't matter. We're divorced now. Due to my schedule, I only see my kids every weekend and I hate it. I regret not making Annabelle sign a prenup as she got half of everything. My family is aware that she's moved on and I know they have their suspicions, but we've never spoken about it. In the 3 years since the divorce, they have never uttered "I told you so," even though I deserve it. I went from loving Annabelle to despising her. I love my children very much, but I hate that I wasted 10 years on a woman who only wanted me for my money. I should have so much more saved, but she either squandered it on useless junk when we were married or took half in the divorce. God, I hate her.
Sorry to hear this, man. You really got screwed. I never believed in looking at tiny signs or red flags when looking at a long-term partner. But after having a similar situation myself, there's actually a lot of things you can do with dating to see how somebody really feels on the inside.
Story 5. I'm pregnant and my husband has been sleeping with my mother. I, 26F, have found out my husband, 30M, is having sex with my mother, 52F. I honestly don't know how to react. I'm 4 months pregnant and I'm trying not to stress since it's bad for the baby. I honestly had suspicions about my husband cheating. When I announced my pregnancy, he seemed happy. Over the moon, actually. He was kissing me and telling me how lucky he was to have me, but now he changed. About 2 weeks after my surprise announcement, he stopped hugging me and kissing me like usual. He stopped eating the meals I'd make for him after work and said he already ate some fast food or something. I also noticed he had changed his lock screen, which was a picture of us. Not sure if that meant anything, to be honest. I found out 3 days ago. I went through his phone while he was in the shower and found text messages, videos, pictures. I'm sick to my stomach thinking about what I saw. I saw pictures of my mom in lingerie, and he was replying with pictures of his penis, saying he was so hard for her. I even saw a message of regret. He had said that maybe they should stop since he didn't want to hurt me, but my mom said I wouldn't get hurt as long as they kept it all a secret. But what angered me the most was the message she sent a few days ago. I'll quote it here so anyone reading this can get an idea of how serious their affair is and has been. I love you so much. More than you think. You've helped me through the passing of my beloved ex-husband, and for that I truly thank you. I know it is hard for you to keep a secret like this, for me it is too. I love my daughter with all my heart, but she will have to accept eventually that love is love and that the heart wants what it wants. Our hearts want each other. I thought that ever since my husband died, nobody would ever love me because I'm just an old woman, but you have shown me to love myself and made me feel young and sexy again. Let's keep having fun and cherishing each other. I think it's important to know my father passed away about 5 years ago from a stroke, and my mother said she refused to get back into dating or romance because my father is her forever love and only. It's absolute bullshit. I'm crushed, and it's the fact that I know they had sex after that message because that was the night he didn't come home until 1 in the morning due to work and paid overtime. I actually threw up after reading that message. I have screenshots of the messages and have sent the videos to myself. Of course I deleted them on his phone so it looked like he never sent me anything. I'm numb. I'm confused. I'm hurt so bad. I can't even cry because I refuse to believe it. My husband is at work. I'm sitting on the edge of my bed writing this. Any advice? Please. I'm desperate for just a little bit of anything, really. This baby in me is honestly the only thing preventing me from confrontation. I'm afraid that confronting them now will cause too much stress and anger, and I want the best for my child. At this point, all I want to do is have my baby. Christmas is soon and I don't want to ruin it for the family. I had also planned on announcing my pregnancy that day. Update: around 2 hours ago, I confronted my husband when he came home from work. I told him that I know everything. I showed him the pictures and messages. At first he denied, but when I showed him the evidence he started crying. Crying. Actually crying. He had the nerve to cry and get on his knees while holding and caressing my stomach. He told me that I would be a bad mother if I left him and raised my child without a father because a baby needs a dad in their life to fully grow mentally and physically. I honestly don't know what to say at that except that it's pure bullshit. I told him that I was contacting a lawyer in order to file for divorce. I had already packed my things before he came home. I'm currently staying at a local motel about 30 minutes away from my home. I've asked my cousin if I can stay with her for a few days and she has agreed. I'm getting everything sorted from there. My husband has been blowing up my phone with messages and apologies. He's told me that if I take him back, he won't do anything to hurt me ever again and he will cut all ties with my mother. As for her, I've also confronted her. I messaged her once I got to my motel. I told her I was pregnant and that she will never get to see her grandchild. She has not responded yet. I have also moved all my finances that I had in my husband and I's shared bank account to my personal savings account. Update 2: I have chosen to cut all ties off with my mother. She messaged me just a few hours ago and I honestly do not have the heart to reply. It's also made me rethink my situation. I'm so sorry for the pain and hurt I've caused you. It was never meant to go this far. I love you so much, with every inch of my heart, but you are not the victim. How dare you hold this against me and take away my right to see my one and only grandbaby? You are cruel. If you do this, you will forever live life regretting. Please do not do this to me. I am your mother, I love you. I have ended it with my husband's name. We are no longer on speaking terms. Please push past this. A child cannot be raised without a father or grandmother. I love you, please call me. I cut out some more personal things from the text. I have a lawyer and am in the process of looking for an apartment. I have no intention on allowing either my former husband or mother into my child's life, but I'm also afraid that my child will grow up deprived of many child-father bonding experiences. As for my husband, his messages have gone quiet, which I am thankful for. My cousin has been helping through this and is currently the only family member other than my mom and husband who know about the affair.
They are both disgusting and do not love you as they claim. Expose both of them and see how strong their love for each other is. Do not keep their secrets. But before confronting, first talk to a lawyer. This is a massive betrayal and I am sorry you are going through this. You've seen what he's made of. No deals. That's not the influence you want on your child. So glad you did something and took action for yourself. Get a divorce agreement drawn up ASAP. You can even do it yourself. I did mine and have helped friends with theirs. If you don't have property that you care about, or to otherwise divide up, present him a divorce agreement that states irreconcilable differences cause this isn't reconcilable. He's disgusting. He thinks he's worthy to raise a child and give the baby anything fatherly? What a disgusting joke. I'd probably go off. I'd release the Kraken. I'd ask him a million ways that he's brought anything to the family that is worth seeing him as a reputable influence to any child. Belittle that effort so he breaks down and goes away and doesn't bother you. Yes, there are tons of men who will simply go away.
Story 6. I've fallen in love with the husband of the women my husband is cheating on me with. I'm F36 and my husband is M38. We have been together for 10 years. We have one daughter who's F6. She's everything to me. I found out a year ago that my husband is sleeping with his employee, F30. How? Her husband, let's call him J, M35, contacted me. He was heartbroken and he thought that I ought to know. He provided me with text messages and dated when they've been in hotels. I recognized my husband's style and I recognized the other woman. I have seen her on multiple occasions when I visited my husband at work. She'd been nothing but kind and pleasant towards me and she always doted on my daughter. I asked Jay what he wanted to do and he said that he wasn't sure yet, so I requested that we should meet. He agreed. I told him about my life and that I'm currently not working after the pandemic. I lost my job and now the economy I haven't really had any opportunity to find job. Instead I've been studying these past 2 years. If I divorce now I won't be able to provide for my daughter. That would probably put her in my husband's custody as a primary provider. I asked him if he could wait for a few months, hopefully longer therefore, and to my surprise he agreed. I thanked him profusely but he told me that he didn't know what to do either, so he's happy to wait. Also, the other woman has 3 children from a previous relationship and he was worried that she would refuse him being in their lives once he confronted her because he's not the father. We kept in touch however. He called me a few times a week and soon we started to talk about other things other than our failed marriages. Afterwards we started going for walks, coffee, movies, etc. I found myself thinking about him often with a smile on my face. He was the first thing I thought of in the morning and the last thing I thought of before going to bed. For the last 3 to 4 months we probably mentioned our spouses 1 or twice. We talk about everything else. And he always makes me laugh. He thinks I'm funny too. 2 weeks ago we were having a picnic and he just blurted out, "I think that I'm in love with you." When he then explained himself it just drove the point home that I also am in love with him. He said that at first he wasn't sure why he was feeling like this towards me and explained it away as 2 jilted people finding comfort in each other, but that he then realized that he wasn't broken anymore. That he even thinks of his wife's infidelity as a blessing because it led him to me. That was exactly how I felt too. I didn't know what to say. I told him that I'm terrified that these are false feelings that would go away once we've freed ourselves from those who hurt us. He just beamed at me and said he was willing to take the risk just to find out. He kissed my hand because I thought we were still married, and if we did something, then how are we better than our so? I don't know what to do now. I find myself daydreaming about him. About introducing him to my daughter. Kiss him. Wake up next to him every morning. I still have 1 semester left, and then I'm probably going to find a job. I've already had some offers for when I'm finished with my studies. I have thanked Jay so many times for being so patient with me about everything. I appreciate that he's waiting for me to put my life in order before we expose our spouses who aren't really seeing each other as often as they used to do. He told me he's happy to help and he just wants a real kiss as a thank you when everything is over. My goal now is to secure my job and leave this marriage. Am I pathetic for wanting to give Jay and I a shot and see where it would go? Can 2 broken hearts really find happiness together when their love story started like ours?
Go for it. I would love to see both of their faces when they find out you two are together. Why worry about them? They weren't there, so when they were having an affair,